Hello my friends, this is Mike Holt, and today I would like to show you the amazing world of Yellowstone again from a different perspective, from the perspective of the canines. And today my representatives that I have the most footage of are the foxes, the coyotes, and of course the wolves. First up, we have a red fox, which I paid a lot of attention to back in the fall months and in the winter months, and you'll see both here. Right now you're seeing him stalking a meadow, mousing in a meadow as a matter of fact, and this is kind of unusual for me because I've never seen the canines mousing in a dry meadow like this one was. But he was a real character, and he knew what to watch out for, he knew all the dangers, and you'll see part of that a little later on. But for now, I'd like for you to see how well and how diligent he was in trying to mouse in these meadows. Well, you've got to give him credit here. He tried over and over again. He was never dissuaded. He kept trying, and you can see that it is a little bit later in the season here, early winter, and he has the advantage because he can sound out the mice and the voles and whatever else he can find under that snow, but he hears them, and he will hone in on the sound and plunge into the middle of the sound, and most of the time, from what I saw, he comes up totally empty. But you will see in the last clip here that he definitely has great success, and for him, that makes his entire day. After observing this little fox for a lot of hours, I was able to see that he actually wanted to be near the buffalo, and the only reason I can think of that is that a buffalo, being as big as they are, could stir up mice and all kinds of creatures underground, and that is what the fox was honing in on with those sharp little ears of his, and then he would plunge on top of them. But I believe that the buffalo actually helped him to hear them under the snow. However, I could see also that it was not exactly a mutual relationship because the buffalo did not like that fox, and you'll see what I mean here in just a moment. Yes, as a matter of fact, you can tell by that fox's body language that he was wary of the buffalo for some reason. At first, I didn't think that the buffalo even cared that he was there or not. But then I could see that there was some kind of tension between the two, and sure enough, one of them charged that fox. And as I said before in another video, I never knew that those foxes could run so fast. But all ended just fine. The fox definitely can run in a short distance to get away, and he did, and you'll see that coming up. Also, it cracked me up after watching this video a few times. I realized the fox was looking over his right shoulder to see where the pursuing buffalo was, and so he made a sharp turn to the left, and he almost turned right into the second buffalo, which I really found entertaining. And on this day, I noticed that the buffalo were very frisky and very energetic, much more so than I usually see them in the winter. And maybe it was because they were just feeling good on that particular day, or maybe he was just entertained by the fact that they could chase that fox and have some fun doing it, and that made him want to roll and run, as you will also see here. Now, in the meantime, the fox actually circled back to the original place he was before, and the reason he did that is I think he knew that was going to be a good hunting place for the mouse. And so you will see here in just a minute or two that the fox has great success. Coming right up. And next up, we have the ubiquitous coyotes. They're all over the park. Everybody can see them, and I enjoy seeing them. There are many times when they can fascinate you with their ability to entertain themselves, and you'll see what I mean here in just a few moments. Right now, you're looking at scenes of a coyote sliding down a hill. Why walk down the hill when you could slide down the hill, right? And also, we have a very interesting scenario going on right here with a coyote that wants to cross a very cold stream. And why was this tenacious coyote so dead set on crossing this freezing cold stream? Well, you'll see here in just a moment. The coyote has found himself a buffalo carcass all to himself. Now you'll see, even though there is no threat that's immediate here, you'll see that the coyote is looking around very suspiciously, wary of any other approaching predators like wolves, who are their mortal enemies. And after the coyote gets a very nutritious meal, he heads for home, but you can see he's still very wary of his surroundings because he's all by himself in the vast wilderness of Yellowstone. And in a different part of Yellowstone, you can see that a very, very young, inexperienced male is howling for his mother. And why is he doing that? Because he is hungry and he hasn't developed the hunting skills yet that they all must have, especially surviving in the harsh winter of Yellowstone. And here the youngster meets up with his mom, hoping she will give him a regurgitated breakfast, but the answer is definitely no. You know, I was definitely impressed by the way the mom, Coyote, kept an eye on her youngster here. Not only did she watch him as he walked down the hill, she continued to follow him for a ways because she just wanted to make sure he was all right and what he was doing. And next up we have the wolves. And the first example I'd like to show you are the Wapiti pack of wolves. They are such a delight to see and watch because you could tell that they care deeply with each other, they love each other, and they will do anything to help each other, especially in the harsh winter of Yellowstone. Now, it was business as usual when I first came across these wolves on the early morning hours here. And as you can see, the black wolf is suddenly aware of something way off to his right. And later I found out that it was the Junction pack, which at the time here, they had a lot more wolves than the Wapiti pack. And so the Wapitis decided to trot to an area of safety where there was a small hill and they could take cover there. And that's what they're doing right now. Next up, let me take you to an amazing scenario with the Junction pack, going back a few years now. At the time, the alpha male was 1047. You can see him on the far right here. He had broken his leg, and I enlarged it so you could see him better, but he still retained his alpha status. The Junction, the entire pack right now, is resting and taking naps as they would frequently do after they would charge through the valley here. And so right now they're getting ready for a hunt. I thought at first they were just playing with each other, but they may have been playing with each other, but in the process they're just trying to wake up and get ready to charge down and see if there's any game that they can take. In the meantime, that fantastic alpha male with a broken leg wants to be with them, and he is for the most part, but when they take off and go for the hunt, they leave him behind, and here he is. In that same scenario, just a few minutes later, he starts howling. That's the only thing he can do. He howls and howls and howls, and much to our surprise, and you'll see this in just a few minutes here, several of those wolves, including the alpha female, 907 at the time, and his brother, known as 1048 at the time, they actually came back and retrieved him and told him in wolf language that they could only understand that they needed to go back to their rendezvous point, which is kind of like their home in the trees. And here they are, and you can see poor 1047 limping all the way. And his packmates are guiding him back to the area of safety where he's not by himself. It was just an amazing scenario, and it was really moving to see this happening and to see living proof that these animals really do care for each other. And finally, we see 1047 struggling to make the short distance up to the rendezvous point where his packmates are waiting. Also, if you look to the right of your screen here, we have another injured wolf, and this one is called the Limper. She had injured one of her front legs, and she struggled even more than 1047 did. However, she was very well led back to the rendezvous point by the rest of the wolves, who found her in a different area, and they all made it back safely. Next up, we have another scene of the Junction Pack, only this time about 3 years later, and this time they are rejoicing the fact that they have a meal, they have a carcass, which you really can't see in this picture. But what impressed me was the fact that they are rejoicing in the way of playing. There's a black wolf that gets on top of the rock. There he went hopping up there, and he will follow the other wolves around. He'll jump down from the rock and play tag with them. He was just a real character, and it was such an amazing thing to see, although they were at great distance away, at least 1.5 miles. But I did feel a bit lucky to be able to record this scenario on my movie. as we're looking at a final scene of the Wapiti Pack, which is one of the most popular packs in Yellowstone National Park, we're reminded that they use this affection that you see as a means of organizing the pack and also as a means of keeping the pack safe. This is Mike Holt. Please stay tuned for a final fit tribute, and also your subscriptions are greatly appreciated. Thank you.